So here we are at the end of September, and I want to do a quick farm update about what's going on here. And we'll start here in our small hoop house. As you see through the gardens, things are still really full and lush. And this time of year is still prime growing season. Even though most people might be done with their gardens, we see this as our kind of prime growing time. So we'll start here at the small hoop house. We got our last planting of beets here. We got lettuce, and we're going to fill in the rest of the bed of the lettuces here today. We got our last planting of kale, which is really looking nice. We got celery up top still, that's been there all season. This is our next planting of celery. These will actually cut as whole, like heads of celery, the whole plant. We got a little bit of Swiss chard there. We've really backed off the Swiss chard this year. We don't think it's quite desirable by everyone, so we grow a little bit just to satisfy some. But here's our last plantings of carrots. Those will be for winter storage. We got our last outside planting of head lettuce there, our mini sweet peppers, a few green onions left there. And this was planted at the same time as that bed of carrots. That's our last planting of carrots. Here's our lettuces that we'll be harvesting. These head lettuce we'll be harvesting this week. Our salad greens that we're harvesting from. That's the last outside planting for the salad greens. We have leeks, which are really starting to take off. Actually, we had some drainage issues, so I actually forked alongside these leeks on the edges just to open up a little bit, and it seemed like it's really helped with those sections. A little bit of cilantro outside there. Here's spinach under there, and there's also arugula, kale, I think radishes and some turnips up there. And here's our that's our last planting of carrots. This is our second to the last, but these two will also be pretty much for the winter storage. This one I'm not planning to take into the winter, but if we don't get to it, might just sit there for the winter time. There are black raspberries, which are really going bonkers. It's our big hoop house. So we got our peppers that are really, we've been harvesting for a while, but every 3 days we fill, I don't know, probably a nice black tote full. Here's our green onions for our fall winter season. And I'll be putting in some turnips in that section. There's a little bit of beets that we'll be harvesting those this week. Another little planting of kale, and here we have our turmeric and ginger that we're just starting to harvest now. Here's outside here. So last month we probably had pumpkins in here still. And so the pumpkins are all out. We planted cover crops in these 2 rows. Then under here, we have arugula, kale, spinach, radishes, turnips, and same here. This is our last planting actually of arugula and kale and spinach outside. We'll plant more plantings of spinach inside, but arugula and kale we pretty much just do them outside and keep them for as long as we can outside. So here's our sweet potatoes that we're starting to dig. See, we got 4 beds here dug. We have 1 more to go, which will probably be done this week. So all those sweet potatoes will be out, and they look beautiful this year. And here's our hedgerow where you can't really tell where it is because sweet potatoes are growing into it. Yeah, it's always nice to not see the wood chips. You have a nice ground cover. Got a really nice fog this morning, but here's our 1-year-old orchard. Looks pretty bare, but next year the wood chips will be broken down enough. We'll actually be planting perennial flowers in between, just like our hedgerows. That'll really fill it in. These apple trees actually have done better than I expected because I had to pretty much dig down past the wood chips and really get into the native soil to plant the trees. But the wood chips hold a ton of moisture, so I didn't know how the first year the trees would respond with that much moisture. But we lost one tree, but I don't think that was our fault. I mean, all the other trees look fine. So yeah, if it was our planting because of that, then I think we would have lost more than one. But, and you can't see now, but we actually have, right there, we planted some pawpaw seeds. So there's little pawpaw seedlings coming up. So those will take time, but 5-6 years from now, I'm hoping they'll be good. Those are raspberries we've been picking. Those are our carrots that we're harvesting right now, and these I think will actually be planted to garlic in about 2-3 weeks. So hopefully we'll get done with carrots by then. These are last planting of cabbages, which look beautiful. Got a broccoli last planting, which look really nice. It's a nice head coming on there. Here's our first cover cropping that we did. So it's looking really thick. There's a lot of biomass there. That's really good to see. Our winter squashes, we have actually come through and harvested about 90% of them. There's a few left that we're letting sit and ripen, but those are pretty well done now. These are strawberries that are really filling in, almost too thick, but the walkway ones, we'll put wood chips down on top of those, and they, for the most part, won't come up next year. And here's some spinach. This is what we're harvesting right now. We got turnips and radishes down at the bottom. We got tomatoes. I just harvested these, so you won't see many ripe ones on there, but we're still getting, I think I got like 9 white crates this morning. And we got a lot of interplanting going on here. We got beets under here, and our salad greens we're actually putting along these beets. So I have about half the row planted down at the bottom. Here we have some dill, cilantro. On the outside here, you'll see down there, that's parsley. So some herbs going into the winter. The herbs seem to do well, again, making it through the winter. So got those. And these were potatoes last time. Those are harvested, and now we have just cover crop this bed, and hopefully you'll have time to grow a nice cover crop. Looks looking good so far. So that's about it. So our apple trees that we get a lot of apples from this year. So until next time, enjoy your month of October and eat well, live well.